Straight all day.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is a go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to channel negative emotions into positive energy and positive actions. And before we get started, let me remind everybody I send out a daily motivation text message free of charge to everyone who's in my text community. This message is guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. If you want to get that message, and also you want to text me and tell me the best insight you got from today's class, just text me at this number right now, 305-384-6894. That text will get you into my text community, and then from there you'll get the daily motivation every day when I send it out. And you can, as I said, text me while you're listening to any episode of this very show. Let me know the best insight you got from it, what you're doing with it, how you're putting this stuff into, how you're implementing the stuff that you're hearing here on the show. I want to know that, because when I know what is resonating with you, then I can best tailor what I'm going to create moving forward. So that number's down below in the description. And secondly, your next step, whether you would like to be coached by me directly, whether you want to get my physical mailings that I send out every month, whether you would like to get access to all of my courses like Bulletproof Mindset, Business Builder, Next Mission, Your Body, Your Health, Sell Yourself, People Skills, 30 Days of Discipline, and more. Everything that I just mentioned, all of the above, is all at one place. WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. That is where you get access to the university. That's where I put all of my high-level material. Everything that goes past what you're getting here at this show is all in the university. So go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. We made it real easy for you to see your options and get started and get to the next step in your game and taking your game where it needs to go through WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. So with that said, let's get into the topic, which is how to channel negative emotions into positive energy. Now, as human beings, we are emotional beings. We all have emotions, and we can't always make those emotions make us feel positive and happy, even though some of us may want that all the time. That's not the way that we always feel, because stuff happens and we can't control the stuff, and we also can't control the people that usually lead to the stuff. So sometimes we feel disappointed, angry, frustrated, sad, and no other emotions that we may rather not have. So instead of trying to ignore or smother these emotions, which usually doesn't work, let's figure out how to channel those emotions into the things that we actually do want. Because if we can learn how to control those emotions and to kind of channel them in the direction that we want, then that means we can figure out a way to make all of it work in our favor. And that's really the ultimate mental alchemy, is where we can take any situation or circumstance that occurs and turn it into a positive for us, no matter what it is. So if you want to learn how to do that, listen up and ideally take notes, because you're going to forget a lot of what I say within the next 72 hours anyway. Point number one, today's topic, once again, is how to channel negative emotions into positive energy. First thing you can do is give yourself time to feel what you are feeling without becoming reactive. That means you can identify the energy that is in you right now, whatever it happens to be, even if it's something that you did not necessarily want. And again, that energy can be frustration, anger, sadness, anything else. Allow yourself to feel it without, however, taking any type of reactive action that you may later regret. So just feeling what you're feeling, just identifying the energy. Or I identified and I feel frustrated right now because whatever, somebody did something. Maybe you did something. Maybe somebody didn't do something. Maybe you didn't do something. Just identifying what the energy is, but you don't have to take any action around the energy. You don't have to go and cuss anybody out. You don't have to go and engage in something. You don't have to go cancel anything. Just feel the feeling that you're feeling. That's it. Now, while Dre Baldwin is no therapist, and I'm also not, I don't focus specifically on mental health, even though some of the things that I talk about they're actually good bodyguards for your mental health. I wouldn't put myself in the mental health category, given the way that people talk about it. I have heard many people in both of those spaces, therapy and mental health, say that one of the main things that an emotion wants is simply to be acknowledged. If you can simply acknowledge an emotion, that's one of the easiest ways to let that emotion go away. It's kind of like clouds floating by in the sky, is that you don't have to do anything with the cloud. You can just acknowledge that the cloud is there, and what will happen? Eventually the cloud will just slowly float by, and eventually it will be gone. It's the same thing with an energy that you may not necessarily want. As long as you're willing to acknowledge it, hey, I'm feeling this energy that I didn't necessarily want to feel. As long as you're willing to acknowledge it, eventually it will go away, because it got what it wanted, which was simply that you just acknowledge that it was there. If you can just do that, then it will eventually move on to its next task, whatever that's going to be, which has nothing to do with you. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to channel negative emotions into positive energy and positive actions. So now that you've acknowledged the energy, what's the next thing you do? Is ask yourself why you are feeling the energy that you are feeling. And then, if you wish, you can go deeper with more why questions. And I suggest that you do, because this will help you get to the root of the issue, which is what we do here. And you come into the university, you work with me directly, we're going to get to the root of things that are going on. We're not just going to talk about what's going on, we're going to find out why it's going on, so that we can either figure out a way to replicate it if it's something that you want, or figure out a way to eliminate it if it's something that you don't want. But we can't just adjust the surface level thing. We got to adjust the deeper issue, the deeper root of why this thing is happening, which is more than just the emotion itself. So for example, if you're feeling angry because somebody did something that you didn't want them to do, or they didn't do something that you wanted them to do, great. All right, that's actually a good thing. Because if you just stop there, you'll probably become reactive, because you are simply reacting to the situation in front of you. So that's not the great part. The great part is you identifying the fact of why you're angry. That's the good part, or the great part. It's not great though if you just stop there, because then you're just going to be looking at what's happening on the surface, and that's usually not the main thing anyway. So what you should do here, and this is what I'm explaining in point number 2, is for you to go deeper, where you will probably realize that there's a deeper, more responsible reason, has a higher level of responsibility, let's say, this reason for why that thing happened. All right? And when you figure that out, now we are starting to get somewhere. So let's say your boss does something that you don't like at work. Or boss makes a decision that goes against what you wanted your boss to do, or what you thought was the best thing the boss could do. And in that moment, you find yourself upset because of the decision that your boss made. Okay, you're upset. You identified that you're upset, and you identified that you're upset because of the decision that the boss made. But now let's go deeper. Why are you upset that the boss made this decision? If you go deeper into it, you may come up with many more productive reasons that are more useful for you, besides the fact that I'm mad that the boss decided this. One reason may be, hey, maybe the boss likes one of your colleagues more than the boss likes you. Maybe it's because the boss is punishing you because you spoke up at a time when the boss didn't want you to speak up, or you pushed back against something that the boss said 3 weeks ago, and now they're kind of getting back at you for what you pushed back on 3 weeks ago. Maybe the reason is, and these could all be connected, or they could be independent, maybe it's the fact that you have a boss. Maybe that's one of the reasons why this thing happened in the first place. Now you can look at all these basically second order reasons, second order consequences of what's taking place, and ask yourself, which ones can you address? Or you could even go to a third level and go into the why of each one of those reasons that you came up with. So you have the main thing that happened, was the boss did something. Then you have why did those happen? Those are the sub reasons that go deeper than the main thing. Then you can have the sub reasons. What are the reasons for each one of those things? You can go deeper and deeper. You can build a whole tree out, basically a cause and effect tree, for lack of a better term, of why all these things happened. And you can get to the root cause of everything as you just keep asking yourself why. Well, why did that happen? Why did that happen? Why did it happen? Just keep going deeper until you get to a main reason. What this does is help you get to the root of an issue. This is something that many people never do. They only look at what's happening on the surface, and they deal with things on the surface. The problem is, if you only deal with the surface thing and not deal with the root thing, then the surface thing is going to come up again. It just may show up in a different form. So you get to the root issue instead of just addressing the surface symptoms of an issue. It's kind of like if a kid has a runny nose, and they keep having a runny nose, and you just keep helping them. You keep blowing their nose, and that's all you're doing is they're sneezing, and you're blowing their nose, and you're giving them chicken noodle soup for the runny nose, excuse me. but you don't fix the fact that maybe it's because they keep catching a cold because they're hanging around other kids who are not as healthy, or they're going outside with no coat on, or they're doing something that's leading to them catching these colds, and that's why their nose keeps running. You don't fix the root issue, then they're going to keep having the same thing. You're going to have to keep fixing the same surface issue over and over and over again. So you got to figure out what is the main root thing. And again, you can figure this out in any situation in life by simply asking yourself the question why over and over and over again until you get to a root cause. Now, is it always going to be that simple? No, but this is the reason why there are other people out there who may be able to see things that you don't see, but you have to be willing to ask the right question. I just gave you the right question. The right question is why. W-H-Y with a question mark on it. Just keep asking that question. If you can't answer it, find somebody who can answer it. So again, as you get to the root level causes of the symptoms that you see, you may decide based on the root level causes, you know what? Maybe I just won't work in this department anymore. I'll get a different supervisor. Or maybe I'll start handling myself differently so I won't piss the boss off anymore. Or maybe you'll decide, you know what, I just don't want to have a boss anymore. So now I can never be mad about a boss making a decision because I don't have one. All right. And because of this, you'll be in a situation where a boss can never make a decision to upset you because there's no boss. This is just an example, but I'm just giving you some different ways that you can think about any situation you come across that maybe rubs you the wrong way for whatever reason. But can you see how this works? Then when you start asking yourself a different set of questions and you go deeper on these questions, you can get more to root causes instead of just dealing with symptoms. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to turn negative emotions into positive energies and positive actions. Number 3, always be aware of your goals and your desired outcomes. You should be reminding yourself on a daily basis of what your goals and desired outcomes are so that they stay top of mind to you, so that you're constantly thinking about them. And even when you're not consciously thinking about them, your subconscious mind is going to work in creating opportunities and places for you to use them. This is the power of the subconscious mind. So you should be reminding yourself of your goals consciously, meaning reading them, looking at them, speaking them out loud on a daily basis, writing them down on a daily basis, even more than once per day. And I talk about how to do this in my book, The Mental Workbook, which if you don't have that, you can get that by going to workonmygame.com/workbook. You can do this, and actually you should be doing this, simply because the more you think about anything, the more likely you are to create or achieve that thing. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be something positive, negative, or neutral. Anything that you consciously think about over and over and over again, by the power of repetition, your brain is going to start to go to work on putting you into positions and circumstances and bringing you around people, places, and things that are aligned with whatever you've been thinking about. Anything, doesn't matter what it is. So when you are clear on your goals, anytime you are facing negative energy, you first of all give yourself an opportunity to focus on something else, being your goals, because you have them top of mind already. So you could easily get yourself off of the thing that just pissed you off and get right back on your goals. Why? Because that's what you've been conditioning your mind to do by looking at, listening, and reading aloud your goals every single day. It's already top of mind for you. Secondly, you can channel that energy of the thing that gave you the negative emotion, whatever that negative energy is. You can channel that energy into what your mind has been focusing on, which is, again, is your goals. So you're turning that energy that you're feeling at the time, which may not be the best energy, you turn it into positive action by just directing it into the direction of your goals. Even though you may not want to feel a negative emotion, understand that a negative emotion is still energy. And energy is one of your 5 forms of investment, along with time, money, attention, and focus. Energy doesn't have to be positive for it to be energy. It's useful. All right. There's a reason why anger gets us focused and it gets us sharp. I did a whole episode on that. Why you often can perform at your best when you are angry. I'll tell you what episode that was. That was episode number... Let's see how I spelled it. That was episode number 678. Why you perform so well when you're angry. One of the reasons is because anger makes you really focused. You get very focused when you're angry. So even though it's a negative energy, it can often lead to you performing at a higher level than you were before, simply because your state has changed. And as we talk about the be, do, have principle often here, understand that being is just a change in energy, it's a change in state. And sometimes the change in energy can just be an increase in energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be positive energy, just energy, period. Again, any kind of energy can be used if you learn how to channel it. And that's what this episode is about, specifically how to channel different types of energies. Energy is useful in any form if you learn to control it. So you just have to learn how to use it and how to control it, and you can make any energy work in your favor. And you should learn how to make any energy work in your favor, simply because you're not always going to have the positive energies. You're not always going to have the warm and fuzzies when it comes to energy. There'll be times where you have frustration, you have sadness, you have anger, you have all different types of energies. You should learn how to use all of them, because all of them are going to visit you at one point or another. And the times when you're not feeling the positive energies, that should not be an excuse for you not continuing to do productive work and to produce results, keeping in mind that we are in, indeed, a results-based business called life. So with that said, let's recap today's class, which says how to channel negative emotions into positive energy. We all have emotions. We can't always make ourselves feel positive, even though we may want to. So let's figure out how to channel any energy into the things that we want. Number one, give yourself time to feel what you're feeling without becoming reactive to the situation. Even though you may want to react, again, this is where you use your maturity to put a pause, a space in between the thing that happened and anything that you do in response to that thing. Give yourself time to just feel and identify what you're feeling in a moment. Number two, ask yourself why you're feeling the energy that you're feeling, then go deeper with more why questions. Anyone who's ever worked in any kind of goal setting, you've done a goal setting workshop, or you've done anything on sales, or any of you who works as a coach, you may know that if someone gives you a reason for anything, you ask the question why. The more times you ask the question why, eventually you're going to get to a deeper reason as to why something happened, rather than the surface level thing, which is where most of us stop most of the time. And this is why most people, again, their thinking doesn't go beneath the surface, because their questions don't go beneath the surface. So I'm giving you the clean question that goes beneath the surface. It is simply the question why, W-H-Y. Ask yourself that more often, and you'll go deeper into anything that you think about, and you'll get to the root cause of it, if you have the courage and the discipline to get to the root cause. Because sometimes the root cause may make you uncomfortable, or whatever it happens to be. But when you know what the root cause is, at least now you are empowered to do something about it, where you can permanently change that situation, rather than fixing things as they keep popping up on the surface. Point number three, always be aware of your goals and your desired outcomes. Why? Because when you are focused on your goals, it'll be the first thing that your mind goes to when anything occurs in your life. And then you can channel the energy that you're feeling in a moment, even if it's energy that you didn't want, like anger, sadness, frustration. You can channel it into whatever your mind has been focused on already, which is your goals. So when you're focused on your goals, what you will find is that the brain becomes really resourceful in finding different ways to utilize whatever comes around it to get you towards whatever you have been focusing on. That's why it's very important to get clear on what you want your focus to be, and you can choose your focus. I told you in, I believe it was episode 1193, but let me make sure that I was right about that, yes, 1193, focus is a force multiplier. The longer you're focused on anything, the stronger your force gets on that thing. So if you focus on money, you will get stronger at generating, finding, and attracting money. You get focused on goals, you'll get stronger at reaching them. Your focus, your force in reaching them will be much stronger, simply because you are focused on them, because the human brain is the most powerful tool that we have. So you got to learn to tap into it and use it to its full advantage. All that said, text me, tell me the best insight you got from today's class. My number is 305-384-6894. And secondly, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. so you can take the next step in my world, get access to all 30 plus courses we have inside the university, including Bulletproof Mindset 2.0, including the Business Builder course. And if you want to be coached by me, we have options for that as well, where you can get on a call, schedule a call with me, and we can talk about where you're at, what you want help with, and what it would look like to work with me directly. That is all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.